We will now have the invocation by Councilmember Marsh McLean.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is a quote from Thomas Edison. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. This is a quote by Winston S. Churchill. If you are going through hell, excuse my language, keep going. This is a quote by Maya Angelou. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. This is a quote by Confucius. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. And I chose these sayings because I wanted to do something that was inspirational. And I think they're so appropriate for this evening because we have some young people in the audience, and you did every single one of these things. Thank you.
I'll now call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman McLean.
Here.
Councilmember Gibbs.
Here.
Mayor West.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala.
Here.
And Councilmember Miranda.
Here.
Councilmember McLean, would you please lead the flag salute?
It would be my pleasure. Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
We'll now go through our executive meeting. Councilor, any questions on the agenda? No. No. Does any member of the council wish to pull any items from consent?
Mayor, just one question on item 9, but I don't need it pulled.
I need to pull. Do you want to ask the question when we get to?
Yeah, when we get to it, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay. City Clerk, do we have any speaker cards?
There are no speakers on consent.
Okay. Okay, we'll now go ahead and we'll proceed to awards and recognitions. And I find this to be one of the more exciting things that we have ever been able to present, and truly remarkable. So tonight, we're here to celebrate a truly remarkable group of young ladies. The City of Santa Clarita is very proud to recognize the extraordinary local team, the SCV Lady Flyers, young women who showed determination, heart, and championship-level grit in the face of unimaginable grief. Following a devastating collision on an icy Colorado highway that claimed the life of one of the team's fathers and left several girls and parents injured, this team made a decision that speaks volumes about who they are. They decided to step onto the ice and finish what they had started. In less than 24 hours, they were on the ice and they were winning. Over the next 3 days, the Lady Flyers played 6 games, battling through every period and every moment with courage and with unity. Their final match, the championship game against Mountain Select, ended scoreless in regulation, setting the stage for a dramatic overtime. In that moment, Khaleesi Brewer scored the goal that secured the win and brought home the championship. Your City Council joined with the community at the Cube to welcome our champions home. It was impossible not to be moved by the poise and the strength these very young women displayed. The Cube is more than just an ice rink. It is a second home for our athletes, a place where teammates become lifelong friends and families become part of the larger hockey community. We were so touched by the overwhelming support that surrounded this team here in Santa Clarita that throughout the tournament in Colorado and then across the nation. Your strength reflects not only your determination and talent, but the culture of support around you from your coaches, from your family, your teammates, and your entire CUBE community. You remind all of us of what it means to rise together, to keep moving forward, no matter what comes your way. You have inspired our city more than you know, and we could not be prouder of you. Congratulations. You are truly champions. Let's give them an applause. We'd like to invite up the SCV Lady Flyers and their coaches and families to come to the dais and take a photo and receive their recognition. Everybody turn sideways just a little, so you can fit in. The shorter one in the front. All right, now let's take all of your certificates and open them up so that they can be seen. I'm gonna squeeze it right here.
All right, right over here. Looking right over here. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Congratulations, all of you. We're very proud of you, but what we want to do is hear from whoever's going to speak for the group.
Come on, Captain.
Who am I giving this to?
All right, Hills.
Okay. Too much pressure on that.
What do you think?
Just wanted to say thank you to the city of Santa Clarita for the overwhelming support that you gave these girls. We couldn't do it without a really good community that was behind us, and you guys really stepped up and really showed what you can do. And thank you so much. Second year team, Lady Flyers. Just so you guys know, we did win Western Girls Hockey League Championship. And what these girls are wearing is the Pacific Girls Hockey League, where we took silver and second place out of 8 teams. We just got back from our last weekend, which was 2 days ago in Vegas. So these girls made some marvelous achievements, and I can't be even happier to coach these girls and what they did, knocking out the first place team in the semis, just have a chance to be in the finals to get a hardware, which was quite remarkable. You want to say anything, Soph?
Thank you, City of Santa Clarita, for all the support for my team. It's truly incredible what the community can do together. And girls, you girls are amazing, and we love you. So thank you.
All right, ladies, I just want to tell you, you have brought great pride to our community and to the council, and we're beyond proud of you. And I know this is going to be an experience you will live and remember for the rest of your life, and we will remember you for the rest of our lives too. So you have made your mark, and you have made us a stronger community. So keep doing what you do best, and enjoy some of what you can, and plow through the rest, because you got 2 great girls. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Watching them come in that night at the Cube was just a remarkable experience, and I don't think one I'll ever forget. And we're really proud to have the young people in our community that we have that over and over show what they can do. And it's not just the hockey players, it's just a lot of, it's our soccer kids, our football kids, our baseball kids, our basketball kids. The kids are remarkable in this community, and it shows the work with the parents and the teachers and the coaches. So we're very proud, and we're very happy that we can honor them. All right, let us move on to the annual update of the Santa Clarita Valley Economic Development Corporation. I am pleased to welcome representatives of the Santa Clarita Valley Economic Development Corporation. Since its creation, the EDC's been a great partner to the city, been instrumental in attracting and growing, expanding business here, and through their effort, new and existing businesses will continue and do continue to choose our community as their home base, resulting in new jobs for our residents. This time, I would like to announce Mr. Andre Seltzer, President and CEO, to the podium, who will provide our annual update to the City Council and the community. Go ahead, Andre.
Good evening, Mayor West, Mayor Pro Tem Ayala, members of the City Council. Thank you for the opportunity today to present the Santa Clarita Valley Economic Development Corporation's 2025 annual report. I want to thank the city for its continued partnership and support over the last 15 years. Economic development is truly a team effort, and the collaboration between the city, our strategic partners, and our business community is what keeps Santa Clarita competitive. I'm also joined this evening by our co-chairs, Don Kimball and Calvin Hedman. Tonight, I'll briefly highlight the overview of Santa Clarita Valley EDC, our results in 2025, and where we see the next opportunities for growth. The Santa Clarita Valley EDC is a public-private partnership focused on attracting, retaining, and expanding the businesses here in the Santa Clarita Valley in the city. Our role is simple, helping companies evaluate Santa Clarita as a place to start, grow, and relocate their operations while supporting the businesses already here. When companies succeed here, it means jobs for residents, investment in the community, and a long-term economic stability for our community. Our work centers on the business attraction, retention, workforce partnerships, and regional marketing. We focus on 6 key industry sectors that are strong fits for Santa Clarita, including aerospace and defense, life sciences, advanced manufacturing, and many others. This is us supporting a diverse set of industries that helps create a strong and more resilient local economy. We also serve as a data resource for the region through our economic outlook reports and market research tools. These resources help site selectors evaluate Santa Clarita and demonstrate why Santa Clarita continues to be an attractive place to do business. And I'd like to jump into 2025 and what we've done in 2025. So in 2025, the EDC supported 896 jobs through retention and expansion efforts, 19 companies assisted, and 44 active projects. Importantly, about 90% of these were within our target industries, helping strengthen the Valley's long-term economic base. To put that in context, the California economic forecast projected only 164 net new jobs for 2025 when we were starting the year, due to economic uncertainty. And despite those headwinds, our work has helped support 896 jobs, roughly 732 jobs more than the projected amount that we were forecasting. Even more encouraging is what comes next. As of 2025, we had approximately 1,866 jobs in our active business pipeline. And in 2026, we're closing in on the 4,000. These aren't guaranteed to close, but what we have is an opportunity with these employers to bring them to Santa Clarita. To generate these outcomes, we focused on some key initiatives, including manufacturing engagement, business attraction, workforce development, media and entertainment coordination, and foreign direct investment. Throughout the process, the EDC works closely with partners like the city, from early site selection and tours to permitting and long-term business support. Looking at the long-term picture, since 2010, the EDC has supported over 24,000 jobs, 660 companies, and 174 attraction projects. These results show Santa Clarita's ability to consistently attract investment over time. We have successfully relocated many businesses, including the following, to Santa Clarita, that you can see on the screen. With many who were once considering leaving California, they located Santa Clarita because of its cost-effective and strategic location to expand their business in the world's 4th largest economy, and LA County being the 21st largest economy. One of the most important highlights of 2025 going into 2026 was the company Boston Scientific. The company was considered relocating operations outside of Santa Clarita, and through collaboration with our partners, the company's leadership team were able to support their decision and relocate within the Santa Clarita Valley, retaining approximately 650 jobs. This is a great example of how economic development is not just about attracting new companies, but retaining the ones that are already here. We also saw expansion activity from companies such as ASC Process Systems, Element US Space and Defense, Woodward, and companies that we're very familiar with like DrinkPack, which recently leased its 7th building off Golden Valley. These examples demonstrate continued momentum across several key industries. But business growth ultimately also depends on access to talent. Through initiatives like the SCV Job Board, regional job fairs, training partnerships, we help connect employers with the workforce they need for tomorrow. We're also working closely with College of the Canyons through the High Roads Training Partnership Program to find customizable training programs that meet specific business needs here in Santa Clarita. And just wanted to point out that our next regional job fair will take place on April 24th at College of the Canyons. We're also launching a new initiative called Made in SCV. Made in SCV is a campaign that highlights the people, products, and innovation happening across the valley while elevating the voices of our local business leaders, ensuring we have business ambassadors within the companies that can speak to the benefits of doing business here in our community. So in closing, I want to thank the City of Santa Clarita, our board of directors, our investors and business partners, and our community collaborators. Economic development is a long-term effort, and success we're seeing today reflects years of collaboration in the Valley. Looking ahead, we remain focused on supporting businesses already here, attracting new investment, and strengthening workforce opportunities for residents. Thank you again for your partnership, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Council, have any questions?
I do have a question. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the good work that you're doing to attract businesses and retain jobs in Santa Clarita. And of course, to the board members and everybody that has been involved with EDC, thank you. My question is, in 2025, what efforts were done to attract businesses, and what worked best in that year to keep on attracting businesses in the future?
Yeah, it's a really good point. One of the key things that we continue to find is our work with the broker community, working, along trade shows and attending not just local events but also national site selection conferences, in which I was able to work with some of the site selectors through Team California. The site selectors basically have a lot of different businesses they work with and help them make identifiable decisions on locations nationally and internationally. And having that one-on-one interaction and that relationship, understanding what drives economic development decisions would be power reliability, workforce. I always say this, that when we are working with companies, we've got to address time to market, cost to market, and workforce as the primary considerations in whether we're attending a trade show or whether we're meeting with a site selector. We have to come prepared to that. In addition to that, we've got supply chain resiliency as well that is also critical. So it's multi-layered, but a majority of our leads are coming through working with our brokers, working with our site selection partners, and making sure Santa Clarita people are educated on the opportunities in our region, that it is accessible, that there is a market opportunity here in one of the world's largest economies, but it's still business-friendly environment and cost-effective, which is very successful for us. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the council? Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Andre, thank you for being here and, of course, for your presentation. Wanted to ask you about you touched on it very briefly, but when you talk headwinds, can you talk about what you're seeing in regards to the integration of AI and labor utilization in the labor workforce? And you talk about headwinds. What are the impacts that you're seeing when you're meeting with companies in regards to that technology?
Absolutely. I would say a majority of our businesses currently are looking at automation solutions. We've had a number that could potentially mean future layoffs, which would change how we look at economic development for its true impact. When we talk about advanced manufacturing, one of our key cluster sectors, that is high-paying jobs, large capital investment, but not necessarily job volume.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of that on the automation side. But in regards to AI, it is touching every single sector, every single industry, and every single job at this point. We also recognize the fact that that gives opportunities for businesses to be more competitive. So when it comes to the automation side, we've seen potential consolidation of businesses, which actually could work as an opportunity for us. If a company has 5 locations in California and they're looking to consolidate to one location, then we would see that as a business attraction opportunity to not just retain, but attract the additional exterior operations into one automated, larger facility.
Okay. And then when you meet with potential customers, you're talking with site selectors, and ultimately Santa Clarita doesn't get selected.
Yeah.
What tends to be the reason that really jumps out in front of you as to why we're getting turned down for potential opportunities?
Well, the good news is when it comes to California, I think we have to fight the California argument first in Santa Clarita. And I think most of the case is the fact that the companies are actually looking to leave California entirely. And that is a real risk for us in multiple industries, aerospace and defense being included upon those. So normally it's the case where a company has actually decided to leave the state entirely. Not in all cases, of course. And so that's why we continue to work with our state partners as well in making sure we get that information correct and we can position California. But when it comes to that, we also see the opportunity with companies leaving Los Angeles. They come to us first as a community where they potentially see a lot of cost savings. But we are competing in a very national and internationally competitive market.
Do you find, and I'm not trying to focus on the negative, but when you find people who do leave, if they are not leaving the state, do we have competitors that we're seeing within the state that have become an attractive model for people who we originally pulled in, who are now leaving to go to different areas of the state?
Yeah, we do. We have multiple cities around us to the north of us where there's more land availability. But the good news for us is we have 2.7 million square feet of current available in commercial use for industrial, and that also will extend out for the next 5 years. We look long term to potentially 8 million square feet across the Santa Clarita Valley. So we actually have the space. The other part is we've noticed other communities have started throwing grants at projects to land in their community, hundreds of thousands of dollars, where that can also be a challenge. So we have to think outside the box sometimes about how can we drive down costs around workforce, real estate, and other opportunities that might not be a direct grant, but a realized savings for that business.
Okay. And Mayor, last question. Andre, what are you seeing happening with the office market now that we're 5 years, if you will, post-COVID really hitting at its heaviest? What are we seeing with the office space market now?
We've seen a slight recovery there in some areas. I think we have to be very sector specific. So the 2 sectors that are really seeing a lot of growth, aerospace and defense and the life sciences sectors. And we're seeing a lot of Class A office space being leased by life sciences businesses. So if we can continue to focus on supporting the workforce in the life sciences sector And attracting those type of businesses, we'll be able to look at the continuation investment in the office market.
So they're moving away from the work-at-home model, if you will, and they're trying to come back a little bit?
We've seen a lot of people not working directly in the office full-time, but hybrid work models, which is where amenities, quality of life, the things that Santa Clarita has to offer, which is top tier, make us very competitive.
Very good. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Miranda.
I decided I did want to say something. So I want to call out in a very positive way Calvin Hedman and Don Kimball for your long-term and energetic leadership that you've given the SPDC. It's just been incredible for many years, and I want to make sure you get recognized, and we're very thankful for it. If you look at all the names on that board of directors, there are a lot of A personalities, a lot of people that are used to running their own show. And to herd them and keep them, I'll use the term in line, is a big deal. And Andre, not to take anything away from you or any of your predecessors, these guys are the guys you want on either side of you, and that's where they are.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to thank you guys.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Councilman McLean.
Yes, since you brought AI up, Jason, I'd like to get your opinion on this. Don't we need to keep humans in order to make sure AI is actually correct and is not leading down a path that can hurt rather than help?
Absolutely. That is an extremely important point. Again, we're all, I think, grappling with what are the long-term impacts of AI going to be. It seems to be evolving daily. I think one of the things that we look at closely at the economic development level is making sure not just job creation, but making sure the employees have a purpose, a place for them to come to work, and an opportunity to upskill and move into new career opportunities. So part of that is actually having a lot of discussions with College of the Canyons about how do we create pathways and give young students the tools to learn Python, to learn various programming languages, to make sure it's an augmentation of the work they do and not a replacement of the work they do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Andre, I really appreciate you coming. Are you letting the city know when there's a need to do a course change, or if something's coming up in the state or in our area where we need to maybe augment or change some of the policies and things that we have relied on in the past?
Absolutely. I work very closely with the city manager on Kent Striplin in regards to keeping him updated on kind of the voices of what we're hearing from the businesses, as well as Jason Crawford as well. The key consideration here is a lot of the things that we're looking at right now. The city's done an amazing job in regards to making a business-friendly environment for our businesses to be successful. Where we face challenges is when we look at the competitive landscape externally to us. For example, I think I brought this up in my last annual report, refundable tax credits at the state level. So I'm always available, and I will always voice what I hear from businesses to make sure that we can continue to work as a partnership.
Oh, that's very good news. It might be beneficial sometime later in the year to have a little roundtable with some of you and some of us on the council and just let us catch up close and personal on everything that's going on, right?
Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.
Right? Go ahead, Patsy.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Please.
Talking now about the job seekers in Santa Clarita, how are you supporting them?
You know, just having a conversation about this. So one of the things that I've decided to put together with various workforce teams is a workforce task force, working with the AJCCs, the college, DEO, the city is also included in this conversation, to ensure that we're taking real case examples of businesses and applying application and not theory, just theory. And part of that is aligning around the things I mentioned earlier. We want to reduce time to market for these businesses. We don't, when they apply for workforce programs, we bring in teams of recruits, workforce partners. We're making sure that time is addressed and the paperwork's addressed. We're also addressing the incentives and driving down the costs. But for the employees, one of the things we are continuing to explore in partnership with AJCC is how do we get those candidates they're working with more effectively in front of employers? Is it going to be a digital platform? Is it going to be something else? And there's not one solution there. But we are currently actively working on that so an employer can continue to work with us to identify candidates through various apprenticeship programs, pre-apprenticeship programs, and working with our workforce intermediaries. So it's a multi-layered process, but we're very involved. And I appreciate that question.
And just to follow up on my
Please.
question, so are you continuing with the effort you started on your website that job seekers can go there?
Yes,
and
that's correct.
Okay.
That's
Right.
the SCV job board. That's
Excellent.
correct, yes.
Okay.
And we'll actually continue to evolve that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andre Seltzer. We look forward to getting together soon.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
City Clerk, do we have public participation cards? All right, thank you very much. Okay, we will start now with our speakers. Calling up first Douglas. Douglas will be followed by David Lutness, and he will be followed by Carol Lutness. And as you know that your name's been called, please come forward and be prepared to step to the microphone.
Okay. Douglas Frazier, Canyon Country resident, 30 years. I'm not going to give up, as the invocation said, and I will not succeed unless I keep trying and don't stop. So I'll keep trying. I've brought this issue up in front of the city before, and this is a small claims court that needed to be returned to Santa Clarita. Many years ago, we had a small claims court, successful. This will be a benefit for the citizens as well as the businesses. I've talked to Kathleen Barger's office, and she understands. So if the city will also talk to the county offices and try to encourage this to come back, it'll be a success. And instead of having to go to Lancaster or Chatsworth to file your small claims, then citizens will be able to, or businesses will be able to stay within the Santa Clarita, saving time and travel. So this will help with mediating and travel time. If maybe the city could write a letter, then that would encourage the county to start investigating and bring this back. They have the money now, which is why they took it out many years ago, is because of financial situations. And my last question, who on the city staff would I contact to discuss this with? And then we can start the process. So I would like to know who on the city staff I would contact. Thank you.
Thank you. David Lutness, followed by Carol.
David Lutness from Valencia. Thank you for this opportunity. First of all, the last speaker, I would like to add a little bit to what he said. Justice delayed is justice denied. So when you make people drive a distance to get justice, you are destroying our justice system a little bit at a time. I'm here about another part of our justice system, which is driving. I'm an old person. I don't usually use the word person in there. And I seem to have recognized over the past 10, 15 years, driving has become less polite and less safe. I would like to remind everybody, I would like you to get behind reminding everybody that a right turn on red is a stop. Make sure it's safe to go and then go. And if you are the second car behind the guy who is turning right on red, you still have to stop because it's a stop sign that you're responding to. We are losing more pedestrians and more bicyclists now than we have in the past because of driving patterns that are not being corrected. You correct the patterns by making people aware of their infractions. We had nice cameras up on all of the light poles showing people coming into the intersection and who was going through them without stopping, and you dropped that because, well, people were complaining. They were complaining for one reason, because the fines were too high. If you put in a fine, first offense $5, second offense $20, third offense $30, fourth offense $200, you'll start to get a change in behavior. And if you put the first offense that is recorded, no points. Yeah, that would be, I think, a fair thing to do when you're dealing with a camera instead of a person. If we don't hold our drivers responsible, we'll lose more pedestrians. Remember that a pedestrian always has the right of way over a car, just like a rowboat always has the right of way over a motorboat. Fix it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I agree with you. Carol Litness. Carol will be followed by John Meshricky, and then followed by Michael Hansel. Okay. Here, honey. Oh, you can do it? Okay.
Hello, all. My name is Carol Lutness, Valencia. I want to share some information that's really been preying on me. There are 62 million Hispanic Latino people in the United States. 50 million of them are citizens. 3 million are green card holders. 1 million have some type of other legal permission to be here. That leaves us with about all over the country 8 million people. In the Santa Clarita, we have about 300,000 people in the valley, the whole valley, 83,000 of which are Hispanic. 6,640 are possibly undocumented. That's 8% of the 83,000 Hispanic residents and 2% of the 300,000. 5% of the people detained by ICE have a violent conviction, according to the Cato Institute. And right now, the current stats show that about 81% of all Hispanics detained have no criminal record at all. If you come to this country once, it is a civil misdemeanor. Examples of other civil misdemeanors are petty shopping, simple assault and battery, drunk in public, trespassing, vandalism. That's simple civil misdemeanors. Should citizens accused of other civil misdemeanors be arrested, detained, deported, or abused without due process and the rule of law I don't think this is a fair argument. I believe in justice and liberty for all, documented, undocumented. Everyone has the rights of being here without, and that the law follows them. I love Ken and I love our sheriff's department because we're down on the corner, on the Good Trouble corner, most every weekend protesting against ICE. I have no trouble with our folks. They're doing a great job. I'm very grateful, but we believe that ICE is out of control and is abusing people and putting them in concentration camps all over this country. This is evil. This needs to change. And I want you guys to recognize the wonderful citizens that we have in this community who happen to be Hispanic or Latino. Thank you.
We'll now hear from John Meshricky, followed by Michael Hassel. And our last speaker, of course, will be Josh Wentz.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Sorry, I get super nervous. So I'm the franchisee at the local 7-Eleven off of Bouquet Canyon and Plum Canyon. And I'm not here to complain, but it's just like we've been hit with the project and it's like turned business upside down for us. I guess I just wanted to come ask if like there's any solutions that we could be doing. Maybe any other reroute or something like that. The whole Benz Road kind of double killed us. So I went to sleep, I woke up, business was down 35%. So it's like 30K in sales last month and going on 70 this month. So we're kind of struggling. A lot of the owners in the plaza too, they feel the hit in the business. So whatever kind of like, I don't know, any kind of solution, I'm not opposed to the city doing these projects because it's gonna drive business up, I get that. I like business, but the thing is, it's like, some of us might go under because of it, you know what I mean? Not looking for a handout, just kind of like what we could do, or I know there's like, I talked to somebody, they said they were marketing more or they're gonna market more, but it's still like, for the time being, because it's gonna be a year long, we're just thinking of like how we're gonna survive or like what we gotta cut or all that, you know? I think we should just keep Ben's Road open. That's just my thought. It's just like kind of an inconvenience for even the people in the neighborhood. I wonder if like the traffic controller or something like that for the city could, I don't know, that reroute is brutal to us. Like the two plazas right there, it goes way far from both of us and like it makes both our plazas seem like poisonous in a sense, you know? So, yeah, I'm just throwing ideas out there. If we could open the road a little bit, open the lid a little bit, it'd be good. 35-40% in sales is brutal, you know? So I know some of them are 30%, one of them 70%. So it's just like, we might lose like a few businesses right there, you know what I mean? Which is kind of hard. And then on top of that, I just invested in this business like 8 months ago. So it's like, yeah, whatever we could think of, or, you know, that's all. Thank you guys. Thanks.
Thank you very much, John. We'll go to our next speaker. We'll get back to these people as soon as we get through the speakers. Go ahead, Michael.
Yes, I'm Michael Hansel, Canyon Country area. Dear Mayor, council members, ladies, gentlemen. I was here last time regarding soccer from 9 to 10, Central Park, to keep the lights on. It didn't work out. But now I'm here for pickleball, a few years later. And pickleball grew quite a bit. We have on the website over 5,000 on the 3 websites. One just was stopped, the Santa Clarita pickleball, but Bouquet and Vista is still open. And I just had a talk with the department of Park and Recreation, and I think the pickleball coaching requirements, can you hear me well? Yeah, should be revised regarding also coaching for only 1 to 2 people, not only a group set up for weeks ahead. I did some private coaching, 2 hours a week or so, by appointment only, and then I did it usually when there's nobody in the park, of course, not to impede, with the playing and stuff like that. So I like to sign up with the city for liability insurance or whatever is there. I don't know what you have to do, but I would propose to have 1 to 2 players coaching possibilities in the city. And I charge only $20 per hour because I bought the pickleball machine and the balls and stuff. It's not so that I need to make money for it, but I can make it also for free if that's the other solution, because I see how the people need the training. Ted Norris, I think, and Colin and Karen doing training too, but in bigger groups. And I see you have to do a little bit more sometimes to play good. And therefore, I would propose to offer that too. Especially, I have mostly indoor seniors whom I'm helping a little bit to move better and play a little bit better, and they feel confident. And just the other day, 46 sevens left. The other day, the one lady, she had only 1 class, and with her partner, you won't believe it, she beat me. She did that what I told her a little bit. She practiced it, and so that was it. The other point shortly, 911 calls go also to the local number from the sheriff. That's kind of interesting. You should look into that. And then I have more here on this paper, but I don't like to tell you everything here. Regarding the ambassadors, I didn't see them too much the last 3.5 years. I don't know their purpose, but you have to review that too. The trains are still too loud. That was one time my comment here when I was speaking longer. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And our last speaker will be Josh Wentz. Another one? Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the council, Manager Striplin, members of the dais, and our city employees. It's great to be here. I haven't been here for a couple months. I love the democratic process. I love showing up here and seeing the wonderful groups that you recognize, the Lady Flyers today, hearing the good work of Andre and the economic development and the businesses coming in here, and of course the barrage of colorful characters of residents and citizens that come up to address you guys is always inspiring to me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Joshua Wentz. I'm the general director of our opera company in town, Mission Opera, as well as Mission Theatricals, the founder of the Santa Clarita Symphony Orchestra, and a proud member of the Santa Clarita Master Chorale. That's 4 organizations in our organization committed to classical music. So I wanted to take a moment to come up today to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for providing grant money that you all adopted in January on the January agenda. I wasn't able to be here to thank you that month, so I wanted to make sure that I exercise my good democratic process and come in and take the opportunity to speak. We have a lot of things coming up that everyone could be invited to. We have a lot of very fun things that we do in the city, and many of you have been there and come back time and time again. One of the things that we do is a monthly opera night at Bella Cucina Italian Restaurant on the 3rd Saturday of every month. When you come and buy tickets to that, it's a great date night for you boring people that just go to the cinema time and time again. This is something a little fresh and different. Not only when you buy tickets are you sponsoring and supporting the work that we do as a nonprofit arts organization in your community, you're also stimulating the economy and supporting a local area business. So I know Andre and his team's happy when our economic development numbers are higher and better. So please consider doing that. We have 2 shows coming up. One is Twisted, the evil story of Jafar from Aladdin and how he's really a nice guy. So it's a lot of fun. That's going to be at the Main in May. Last year we did our first musical there. It was a sellout, so we had to add more shows. As you know, the Main is a theater owned and operated by the city of Santa Clarita. Some years they do well, some years they don't do so well. So when we sell out at the Main, guess what? We all win. Mission Opera wins, the city of Santa Clarita wins, and we keep keep those doors open a little bit longer. The other show we have in April is going to be a collaboration with Olive Branch Theatricals, yet another performing arts organization in our community, at the Valencia Town Center, where they've opened a theater. And we have the beautiful opportunity and privilege to be one of the featured national organizations doing a Carlisle Floyd Centennial event. So I do have postcards I'm going to leave with the county clerk here, the city clerk, excuse me, as well as some on the back. If you're interested in our upcoming shows, please do not be a stranger and come say hello to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We have one more speaker. Please come up, Israel Tavar.
Good evening, everyone. This is my first time doing one of these speeches, so excuse me if I'm a little uncomfortable with speaking in front of you all. I probably won't need the whole 3 minutes, but I just want to give you some information about what I've been dealing with. I wanted to add to what Carol was saying in regards to ICE and my personal experience. My name is Israel Tovar. I'm from Santa Clarita. My concerns about the ICE raids that have been going on in Santa Clarita and other surrounding communities. What I'm hoping to achieve is to help everyone involved stay safe and do things within the law and understand the rights when approached by ICE. I'd like to say thank you to our local sheriff's department. I was out on a community patrol a few weeks ago to make sure ICE and anyone else involved were being safe and fair. Once an ICE vehicle was spotted in Santa Clarita, our group techs worked together to end up having 7 cars following the ICE vehicles, with the goal of videotaping any contact with the public by ICE and ensuring everyone's safety. While following ICE agents in that vehicle called 911 to report road rage, which was a lie. None of us were driving unsafe. We were just following. Luckily, the sheriff's department did not buy their lies, but they had to stop us and ask us if we were having any road rage because there was a call for it. But once they pulled me over and asked me, and I politely said, no, we weren't, officer. He said, okay, great, thank you, and went on our day. So a very big thank you to the Sheriff's Department for doing things the right way, being fair, taking care of the citizens and anyone else involved. I'm worried that eventually my safe city, where I have lived in for 8 years, will become just as unsafe with ICE as our surrounding cities. Just today, one of my friends that is also doing what I've been doing outside of Santa Clarita was hurt by ICE, pulled out of the vehicle through the window, broken window, and all he was doing was trying to videotape the situation to make sure everybody's being safe. And in those areas, from what I hear, they're a lot more intense of what they're trying to do with the community, and it's hurting them a lot in those cities, and I'm hoping that doesn't come to our city here. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public speakers. I'll turn over time to our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. In regards to the small claims court, that is a function of the county superior court, so they would make the decision on whether to bring small claims back. We can certainly write a letter if that's the council's preference, but I defer to you guys on that. In terms of the red light cameras, I just want to highlight one thing that Mr. Letness, which I guess he's not here, the fine structure he was talking about and creating a new fine structures are created at the state level, so there is no local jurisdiction to alternate those fines for those types of citations. In regards to the 7-Eleven owner, Mr. Mirsky, we will have staff reach out to him. Certainly, we've been trying to make sure that there's signage. We've been doing some additional social media advertising to make sure that people know the businesses are there. I think there is a component of it that deals with commuter traffic that is routed around it that may be affecting them. But I will have staff reach out to them after the meeting and continue those conversations and do whatever we can, whatever adjustments we can to try and generate business for those centers. In regards to the pickleball courts, I think the biggest issue that Mr. Hansel was talking about is private coaching on public courts. And obviously, we don't allow that. Pickleball courts in particular are probably one of, equal to field space in terms of demand, so we do not allow that. But I'll have Lance O'Keefe continue to work with Mr. Hansel and figure out what we can do to get him signed up as a contract instructor or something of that nature that would allow him to do what he's asking for. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
How are we doing with people going through bends? It seems like that seems to be working, and you can tell us a little more about that.
Yes, I think that we've continued to monitor the situation out there all around either the detour, the gate, the traffic. We've done baseline counts for traffic in various areas. Bends, actually, we did pre and post traffic counts. The traffic counts after the gate, obviously the residential traffic there has decreased by about 50%. We looked at other areas, so it doesn't appear that there's any one area that's being overly impacted or the traffic changes are affecting the neighborhood community. The detours seem to be working fine. The detour, I believe, in the peak hours is resulting in about a 3-minute additional drive time for residents. And in the peak afternoon hours, I think that's down to under 2 minutes. So no major traffic jams, no major traffic issues. We continue to add signage as needed and monitor the situation with access to the gate. So far, it does seem to be working, and we'll continue to monitor that.
All right, can somebody reach out to this young man with the 7-Eleven store?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Any questions, council? Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for having staff reach out to the gentleman who owns a 7-Eleven. We have to do everything we can to help our small businesses, and we just can't let that plaza go under because of that road. And I'm just wondering, can we contact the developer and have him chip in for some marketing to help out those businesses that are being impacted, because we have to do something to help.
Yeah. We will meet with them and see what we can come up with.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, council, that
I have.
Go ahead, Patsy. Sorry, I almost missed you.
No, thank you so much. First, regarding the small claims court, is that something that can be hosted in the potential state courthouse that they?
Yes.
Okay, just to have that in our future talks, maybe with the, not maybe, to have it on the.
Yeah, there used to be small claims out here, but they transferred a lot of the services that were here down to Chatsworth and other courts due to staffing shortages and resources. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I know Mr. Frazier said they got all their money back, but I also know that the state's facing a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit. So I don't know that they're looking to expand services, but I would imagine a 24-court building, that would be something that potentially could come back.
Okay, thank you. And regarding the comments of ICE, is there any report about activity or somebody got detained by ICE here in Santa Clarita?
No, we do not get any advance notice of ICE operations, nor do they report back on any operations they conduct in the city.
Mm-hmm. And regarding to the comment to the lady that was making to recognize Hispanic community, honestly, I feel that the 5 of us, that's exactly what we have been doing. I seen the 5 city council members actively with the Hispanic community. Every Hispanic Heritage Month, we recognize the Hispanic community. I am a Mexican immigrant, now naturalized, but I know how it is to be an immigrant and come to United States and with hard work have a decent life. So, si alguien de la comunidad latina tiene algún problema o quieren traer cualquier situación a la ciudad de Santa Clarita, por favor, contacten a la ciudad y yo feliz los escucho y veo si es algo de la ciudad, cómo ayudarlos. Y si no es algo de la ciudad, referirlos a la agencia correcta de gobierno. I just want to address about that. Anybody can reach out to me from the Hispanic community. Of course, we have Bill Miranda that, of course, has been very close and having during their years, even before my time, many initiatives to support the Hispanic community and now and every community. Everybody is included in the things that we do in our city. And for the business affected, can you also add in the things that we can do to give them the contact of the SBDC, since they do business planning, and maybe have with the director, let them know, there are this amount of businesses, and maybe they have classes, they have guidance that maybe these businesses don't know, and those are free resources from the SBA, the Small Business Administration. And there are also, for you to know, for the businesses, free Google resources. And of course, thank you for offering City Manager to do anything that is in our power to keep supporting our small businesses, especially. It's hard to do businesses, and now, of course, with this situation, thank you for taking care of that. And well, that's let me see what else I have recognized. Okay, that's it. Is this a part that we do report, or that's the next?
Oh, we're getting to it.
Okay, all right.
We're on our way.
Okay, all right. I'll wait for that opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, City Manager, does that conclude your comments? All right, thank you. And if you need us, get back to us on any of that. We're now going to move to committee reports and council comments, and I'm going to start with Bill Miranda.
Thank you, Mayor. Heads up to Abby. I'm going to do the hydrogen buses first and then La Puerta. Okay, this morning, the city's transit maintenance facility received a special delivery, and I mean really special. The first of 7 hydrogen fuel cell buses that will soon begin to service the Santa Clarita streets. These zero-emission, repeat, zero-emission buses produce only water vapor from the tailpipe and offer a long driving range that many battery electric buses allowing them to stay on the road longer before refueling. The addition of these buses marks another step forward in the city's commitment to innovative, sustainable public transit. La Puerta. Last week, the city hosted a special ceremony celebrating La Puerta as a California point of historic interest. La Puerta, meaning the door, was once a narrow natural gateway through Ellesmere Canyon and served for thousands of years as the principal passage into the Santa Clarita Valley. Long before railroads and freeways, this corridor connected indigenous trade routes. The route was later traveled by the 1769 Patola expedition and eventually evolved into the early wagon roads that influenced the development of Beals Cut, Sierra Highway, and today's State Route 14. City leaders, dignitaries, volunteers, and community members gathered to celebrate this designation with the official unveiling of the La Puerta trail signs. The new signage along the Ellesmere Canyon Trail Loop will help guide visitors and will also be placed near the site itself to share the story of this gateway and the generations whose journeys help shape our city. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Betsy Ayala.
Thank you. First, I want to do a quick report that the lithium battery plant had an inspection and it passed everything, since this was a recurrent topic during our city council meetings. Also, February 25th, I was attending to the Valley Industry Association networking mixer via After 5. Thank you to the law offices of Thompson and Von Tulgan for hosting and supporting the small business community in the city of Santa Clarita. Also, I have the pleasure to have a tour to see how it's working the sanitation district, but I'm going to leave that to our mayor to report with more detail. But thank you for the good work that you're doing. On Friday, I attended to the Hispanas Organized for Political Equality Latina History Day. This is a yearly celebration that day. This is the delegation of Santa Clarita ladies pleased and attended with me because they recognize the Latinas making history and contributions in the state of California. And we have many wonderful Latinas, you see in the picture, small business owners, teachers, entrepreneurs in different areas that they are thriving in Santa Clarita. And I was proud that they were with me as a Santa Clarita delegation. Thank you for your good work in Santa Clarita. You make us proud. And also, I just arrived from Sacramento. I was able to join the KHTS bus trip. We were with the New Hale School District, the College of the Canyons, and thank you to Senator Valladares. She was hosting and organized the meetings for Santa Clarita. I was with this delegation of people and leaders from Santa Clarita advocating for better housing, for local control, because sometimes we hear outside that some people say, hey, don't grow more and don't have housing or have housing. And I mean, there are different points of view, but the reality is that some of the decisions of growing in terms of housing and how we should be growing, those decisions are done in Sacramento. And we respect the law, we follow the rules, but of course, I went there to be a strong voice for Santa Clarita of what works for us, because some of the decisions, maybe they are good for big areas like San Francisco and Los Angeles, but we are unique, and some of I want to let them know what are the community that we are and the needs that we have in terms of housing and the parking and all the mandates that sometimes they do that they don't go according to us. Also, there was some advocacy for the water and the water that we receive coming from north. And thank you so much for all the professionals and organizations that were there advocating for Santa Clarita, including our water district too. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Marcia McLean. Council comment. It'll end here in the middle.
Yeah, okay, I'll go.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The first thing I would like to mention is a Southern California Association of Governments scholarship where students either in high school, graduating high school, or at a community college can earn a $4,000 scholarship. And I had sent an email to Eric Harnish at COC and then Debbie Dunn from the Hart District with this information, and I heard back from Ms. Dunn, and she's going to contact school counselors. If there are any students who are listening to this message and you would like to participate in that program, I'm a regional council director for the Southern California Association of Governments, or SCAG, and I sent information regarding a student scholarship program that could be of interest to our students. I'm going to be at the General Assembly in May, and it would be wonderful to have one of our students to apply for that scholarship and be there. You are able to give your presentation at the General Assembly, so I'm hoping that a student who sees this will go ahead and look on the screen. There's information for where you can access the online application, and it's scag.ca.gov/scholarship. And please do take advantage of this. It's really a great opportunity. And the second thing I wanted to mention is I wanted to tell you a little bit about how La Puerta came about, how the historical status came about. A lot of times we hear about the programs, but we don't know how it happened. And I just wanted to tell you that the SCV Canyons Preservation Committee was founded in 1988. And the one of the very first things that was mentioned at the very first meeting was the historical status designation of La Puerta, because it is a very, very important part of our culture, and our students should know about the history. So at the La Puerta ribbon cutting, we were able to talk about SCP Canyons Preservation Committee, the preservation of Ellesmere Canyon, the preservation of Whitney Canyon, and therefore also Placerita Canyon. And I'm very proud of the number of people that helped to make this happen. And many times people don't get credit for what they do. And I talked about never giving up, and we never gave up on fighting to defeat the dump in Ellesmere Canyon. We never gave up in getting historical status. And I want to thank Lance O'Keefe of the city and Sean and for all the people that helped to make La Puerta a possibility. It took a lot of work and a lot of years, and it finally did happen. And I wanted to mention one other thing regarding our One Story, One City. The book this year happens to be The Music Shop, and the author says, music comes out of silence, and at the end it goes back to it. It's a journey, you see, says Rachel Joyce, the author of The Music Shop. And I just wanted to mention that the very first presentation of music shop activities was on March 6th at the Main. And 4 members of the SCV Symphony Orchestra were actually there to play some of the music from the book, and it was really amazing. So I just want to encourage folks to go to the library.santaclarita.gov/OSOC to take a look at that book and take it out. Check it out from the library. It's a great book. You would totally enjoy it. So please do that. And then just one other thing, the SCV Historical Society's 50th anniversary, the theme was Live from Saturday Night, and it took place on Friday evening, and it was so great. I'm sorry, Saturday. Yeah, no, Saturday. It was really great, and I think the Historical Society did a great job. And I'm sure that the video from that performance is going to be maybe on YouTube, so take a look at it. Thank you.
Councilman Gibbs.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 5 minutes about La Puerta as well. I don't, I'm just kidding. It really, honestly, it is such a great thing to see that come to a close that the city has worked so hard for. And it was really special to see the committee that you had formed also get a chance to come to a close and see the true end of the work that you all had set out 4 years ago. So congratulations to all of you and everyone who was involved in this community. And just to be able to be a part of it at the end was truly fantastic. I want to give a congratulations to all of the nominees for the Man and Woman of the Year this year. This organization really is the heart and soul of what Santa Clarita is. It's men and women who give their time and their treasure to those who are in need. And it could be anything from women's groups to the Boys and Girls Club to the Salvation Army. All of these different nonprofits in town is really what sets Santa Clarita apart. And it's done very often, very quietly and behind the scenes. But once a year, the Man and Woman of the organization come together to recognize somebody. So I want to tip my hat to everybody who was nominated this year and for the work that they are doing. And I also want to give a thank you to city staff and to Captain Barclay for the quarterly public meeting that Councilmember Miranda and I attended. This is something we've started doing over the last few years, and we really get a chance to understand crime rates and crime trends and what's happening with our sheriff's department and the personnel. And it's been very eye-opening. We really get a chance to have honest conversations about the goods and the bads and what's being done. And it was great to hear that we're seeing the trends go the right direction this year, and we're seeing morale increase. And it was great to hear the public speakers who are also recognizing the great work that you do. So, Captain, I appreciate that, and your suit is top-notch tonight, sir. Thank you for that. And then also, again, we got to go to the Historical Society event this Saturday night. I think it's an event that really could evolve and be great down the line. I think some of the jokes were very inside baseball, and I think all of us kind of caught on to a lot of them, so it was fun to really recognize the times from the past, and we wish the organization nothing but success going forward. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. It's been a very exciting couple of weeks, actually. Yes. Couple things. Cowboy Festival is coming up April 18th and 19th, and this is going to be truly a treasure since it's the first time that we will have the now nationwide famous Cowboy Festival in our very own William S. Hart Park, and I'm pretty sure staff's pretty excited. There's going to be a lot going on. It's our 30th anniversary, so we need volunteers. We need volunteers who will do escorts for the guests to get them where they need to go, photography, check-in, merchandising booths. There's going to be activities such as butter making, gold panning, candle making, leather stamping, all the crafts. And we'd just love you to sign up. So if you can sign up to be a volunteer, have a great time, really get to enjoy about 10 or 15,000 people over a couple of days. Please visit SantaClaritaVolunteers.com, SantaClaritaVolunteers.com, because we'd love to have you share that experience with us. I can't say enough about Santa Clarita's history making 50 years. The society was really thrilled, and I hope when they put their slideshow up or their film up on line that you can see it if you weren't able to be there. It'll be a wonderful thing. The Master Chorale had a Mozart symphony this last Sunday at the Performing Arts Center, and my hat goes off to the Master Chorale. They did 2 hours of music. Having been a cellist, I was fascinated watching them play for 2 hours, and they had all the music memorized. It was just remarkable, and the singers were great. And they're going to put on a fundraiser at County Country Community Center in about a month. So they're remarkable, and if you get to see them, please do that. It's just amazing that we have this kind of talent in our valley. Toured the sanitation district, number 32, over on the river with Mayor Pro Tem Ayala, and we're looking at, go back a second. I can't say you're looking at. In any case, what we were doing is looking at the water filtration process. It goes from the rough coming in all the way to where you have almost completely clean water, and by the time it is filtered through that whole process, you can see it's completely clear at the end before it goes into the river, and it's one of the best operations in the United States. I'm very proud of them. They're protecting our health. That's about 15 million gallons a day. So that one photo, between that and the Saugus plant, you've got about 20 million gallons a day going to the Santa Clara River. So all that beautiful green you see from Bouquet Canyon all the way to the beach, that is from our treatment plants. And I'm very proud that they work so hard to be state-of-the-art in order to protect our health and protect our environment. So if you want a tour, you can have a tour. Just wear appropriate grubby shoes, because you'll need to have rough clothes for that. But it was a good learning process, and I think we enjoyed it a lot. So thank you for that. And I think one of the most exciting things, this is a milestone for our future. I'm going to go on to Aspire Fiber. And we got together and we did the ribbon cutting, and there's me and Passy and Jason, and we were all there. We had that at the Canyon Country Farmers Market, which was really lovely to be at. This is our remarkable work. This is to leverage the unused city dark fiber to deliver ultra-fast fiber optic internet service to literally everywhere in our city. And it was a dream 10 or 15 years ago to do this, and it's already started. So if you see Aspire trucks out there, just know they're going to be working in every neighborhood, putting down that fiber so that we can have faster, more reliable internet access, and we'll have it everywhere in our city. Over the past 20 years, the city has put in 100 miles of fiber optic infrastructure to support traffic and signals and parks, public facilities. And now we've partnered with Aspire Fiber, and they are out there putting it in to benefit the businesses and every single resident. This agreement is projected to generate a minimum of $7.75 million for our general fund over the first 20 years, with potential for even more. So not only do we get better service and have this opportunity, it also generates dollars for our community to have for other things. This is reliable, high-speed fiber internet access fundamental for small business, entrepreneurs, students, remote workers, everything you want to do. So if you want to learn more, sign up for notifications, and I encourage our community members to do that. So visit Aspire Fiber, ASPIREFIBER.com, and find out more. This is going to change the way people are able to do a lot of things with their computers and from home. This is just a remarkable thing, and it's here. We don't have to wait. It's here. So we want to thank you for all the work to staff, and you did a great job. Thank you very much. All right, well.
Can I do the adjournment?
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I have one adjournment. I would like to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Donald Don Curl, who passed away on January 20th, 2026, just 1 month after his 101st birthday. Don was born on February 20, 1925 in Long Beach and grew up in the Los Angeles area. At just 18 years old, he answered to call to serve his country, enlisting in the United States Army during the World War II. Don served in the 91st Division, 347th Field Artillery Battalion as radio operator in northern Italy, a role that required courage, precision, and dedication. When he returned from the war, he married his high school sweetheart, Virginia Beale, in 1947. Together, they shared 62 wonderful years of marriage. Don spent much of his career working in electronic repair and sales and was known as a lifelong learner with a deep curiosity for science and technology. He had a passion for aviation, learning to fly small planes, completing skydiving jumps, and even taking a glider flight for his 98th birthday. I had the pleasure of meeting Don and also celebrate his 100th birthday last year. He was such an amazing man, and even in his later years, he remained active and engaged, attending a veterans coffee group, practicing Morse code, playing piano, learning American Sign Language, and cheering his beloved Dodgers and Lakers. And he was a personality in his senior living here in Santa Clarita. On behalf of the City of Santa Clarita Council and our entire community, we extend our deepest condolences to Don's family, friends, and all who had the privilege of knowing him. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very, very much. Sounds like a very, very special man. All right, we're going to move into our public hearings, and we will start with the San Canyon Plaza Benefit Assessment District. This is the time and place for the public hearing for the formation of the Drainage Benefit Assessment Area Number 2025-1, San Canyon Plaza. This hearing is officially open and will receive comments, questions, and any oral protests from any interested person. When the comments have been received, the hearing will be closed by the city clerk. City clerk, are the reports on the hearing notices all been filed?
All notices required by law have been provided.
Okay. This hearing is officially open and will receive comments and questions and any oral protests from any interested persons on these matters. City staff will now make a presentation, after which the public will have an opportunity to comment. When all comments have been received, the hearing will be closed. With that, I would like to turn over the time to Environmental Services Manager Darren Siegmiller.
Good evening, Mayor West and members of the City Council. My name is Darren Siegmiller. I'm the city's Environmental Services Manager. The item before you this evening is a public hearing for the formation of Drainage Benefit Assessment Area, or DBAA 2025-1. Formation of this DBAA is a requirement of the Sand Canyon Plaza project. In October 2023 and May 2024, the City Council approved the Sand Canyon Plaza tract maps, allowing the development of dwelling units, commercial parcels, and an assisted living center on the east side of Sand Canyon Road, north of Soledad Canyon Road. The project requires the construction of drainage improvements that will protect the parcels within the DBAA from flooding and remove pollutants from urban runoff before discharging into the Santa Clara River. The formation of this DBAA will provide a funding source for the continued operation and maintenance of the required drainage improvements. The proposed DBAA is directly associated with the development of properties within the DBAA and for the special benefit of those properties. With that said, staff recommends the council conduct a public hearing and directs staff to open and tabulate the ballots. If no majority protest exists, adopt resolutions approving the engineer's report and authorize the annual levy and collection of assessments beginning fiscal year 26-27. If a majority protest exists, no action is required. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. City Clerk, are there any speaker cards?
There are no speakers on this item.
Okay. Is there anyone who wishes to file a written comment or protest related to this matter? Hearing none. If there was, then you would need to do it at this time. And we have no speakers? Okay, so are there any property owners that need to turn in a ballot? Okay. I will then now close the public comment portion of this hearing. Are there any questions or is there any discussion by the council on this item? Hearing none. The city clerk is now directed to open the ballots, tabulate, and announce the ballots results once the tabulation has been completed. All right, do we come back to this later? Okay. All right, we will go on to our next public hearing, and we'll come back to this when they have finished. We're now moving on to our agenda item number 2 for the amendments to the City of Santa Clarita Oak Tree Ordinance. This is the time and place for the public hearing for the proposed amendments to the city's Oak Tree Ordinance, Master Case 25-160. This hearing is now officially open, and we will receive comments, questions, and any oral protest from any interested persons when all comments have been received, and this hearing will be closed. City Clerk?
All notices required by law have been provided.
All right. City staff will now make a presentation, after which the public will have an opportunity to comment. And with that, I'd like to turn this over to Valerie Furchaw, Urban Forestry Administrator. Valerie.
Thank you, Mayor West and members of the City Council. My name is Valerie Furchaw, Urban Forestry Administrator for the City of Santa Clarita. The item before you today, Master Case 25-160, proposes 2 targeted amendments to the city's oak tree preservation regulations. The Oak Tree Preservation Ordinance was adopted in 1989 as the city's first ordinance. Its purpose is to preserve, protect, and responsibly manage oak trees across residential, commercial, and undeveloped properties through defined exemptions and permit processes. In 2005, the Council adopted Ordinance 05-4, which established exemptions, clarified permit authority and appeals, and established mitigation requirements for removal or major encroachment of non-heritage oaks on single-family properties. In 2024, the city retained a consultant to evaluate the city's regulations and help guide potential updates. Based on that analysis and ongoing interactions with residents, staff developed the amendments before you tonight. And on January 20th, 2026, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval. Currently, the regulations allow for single-family property owners to have 2 primary options to remove a protected oak. First, if a tree is determined to be hazardous, it qualifies under an existing exemption, and may be removed without a permit or mitigation. Second, an owner may apply for a discretionary removal permit, which requires an arborist report, fees, mitigation, and planning commission for approval of heritage trees. Both pathways require specific findings to authorize removal. Through ongoing implementation of the regulation, staff has heard recurring concerns from homeowners living within the fall radius of large oaks near permitted structures. These concerns include safety during high wind events, structural risk, and insurance challenges even when a tree is not classified as hazardous. More recently, residents have expressed heightened concern about the potential for tree failure, particularly when children are outside playing or when families are using their yards. While not every tree presents an imminent hazard, the proximity of large oaks to occupied structures can create understandable safety concerns for homeowners. As a result, staff has recognized a gap between the limited hazardous tree exemption and the more involved discretionary permit process, leaving some property owners without a clear or timely pathway to address safety and property use concerns. To help illustrate this point, here is an example of a single-family residence located within the fall zone of a protected oak. While every tree carries some level of inherent risk, visible indicators do not always signal when failure may occur. A tree that appears healthy and structurally sound can still have internal defects that contribute to significant limb or whole tree failure. For context, during the storms in late December 2025, city staff responded to more than 40 tree failure-related incidents involving city-maintained trees. That figure does not include privately maintained trees, which are not tracked by the city. With that, the first proposed amendment establishes a Class 1 ministerial oak tree permit exclusively for single-family residential properties when a qualifying, permitted, permanent structure is located within a protected oaks fall zone. The fall zone is defined as the area a tree could strike in a full failure based on its height. Qualifying structures include permitted homes, garages, ADUs, and permanent structures designed for regular human use, domesticated animals, or utility infrastructure. Temporary features such as trampolines, swing sets, and portable sheds would not qualify. Mitigation remains required under the existing single-family framework, including native oak replacement or an in lieu contribution not to exceed $1,500, subject to CPI adjustment. This proposed mitigation structure is intentionally tailored to single-family residential properties to provide predictability while still supporting oak replacement and regeneration. The second proposed amendment clarifies that the ordinance applies solely to California native oak species, aligning the code with its original intent. It should be noted that following the Planning Commission's recommendation on these two amendments, staff received feedback related to the First Amendment from members of several organizations, including the Santa Clarita Organization for Planning and the Environment, otherwise known as SCOPE, the SCV Eco Alliance, and the California Wildlife Foundation. In response, staff hosted a virtual meeting with representatives from these groups on March 3rd to provide additional context and clarification regarding the proposed amendments. One of the primary concerns raised during that discussion was the potential impact of the proposed updates on the overall quantity of oak trees within the Santa Clarita Valley, with some expressing concern that nearly 2/3 of the city's oaks could be affected. However, based on conservative estimates using the city's GIS technology, the number of oak trees located within 50 feet of a structure represents less than 6% of the city's overall oak tree population. Additionally, based on historical permit activity, requests for oak tree removal on single-family residential properties average fewer than 20 per year citywide. In summary, the First Amendment creates a limited, objective, ministerial permit process for single-family homeowners when a permitted structure lies within a protected oaks fall zone. The Second Amendment clarifies applicability to California native oak species. The intent is to provide a clear, objective pathway to address safety and property use conflicts while maintaining oak preservation, mitigation, and regeneration requirements. This amendment is narrowly tailored and does not alter the broader preservation framework. Notice of this public hearing was provided in compliance with all legal requirements, including publication in the Signal on February 13th, 2026. Staff has determined that the ordinance is exempt from further environmental review under the applicable CEQA guideline sections, including categorical exemptions and the common use exemption. The Planning Commission recommends the City Council introduce and pass to a second reading the ordinance approving Master Case 25-160. That concludes my presentation. Myself, Special Districts Manager Andrew Adams, and Oak Tree Preservation Coordinator Fernando Mendoza are available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Members of the City Council, there is one further thing I'd like to bring to your attention with regard to the draft ordinance that's in your agenda packet this evening, starting at page 22. In the printing of this ordinance, some of the characters were removed, not substantive language, but simply characters that would indicate where specifically in the existing code section these new paragraphs were going to be placed. And so should the council give this first reading tonight, when you see it for second reading, those indicator lines will be back in there explaining where exactly these sections will fit into the existing section. Because otherwise, when this goes to be codified and put on this, the internet, the company that does that for us won't know exactly where to put them.
Do we need to do anything during our deliberations?
No, it doesn't change the substance of the ordinance. The language is the same. We would just be adding language that says specifically where to put the paragraphs with.
Okay, so it'll just look different.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Joe Montez. Appreciate that. All right, that concluded staff. Now, do we have any requests to speak that have been submitted? Okay. Thank you very much. All right, this first card says Gary and Jeff Codell. Are you coming up to speak together? You get 3 minutes. And the next speaker would be David Rogers, and following David would be Kathy Armitage. All right, go ahead, sir.
Yes, my name is Gary Cadell. This is my son, Jeff. We're in Candy Country. For homeowners with structures within the fall zone of the oak trees, this proposed permit process will automatically rubber stamp approval to remove the trees, even if the trees are not causing any problems. This permit process bypasses our current ordinance's requirements to review, inspect, and issue a report that provides options to resolve the homeowner's concerns. In many cases, the tree does not need to be removed. I'll give you a couple of examples. If the tree limb is coming close to the roof, the arborist can supervise the pruning. The tree doesn't have to be removed. Other examples would be the roots, uplifting concrete. Again, not always does the tree need to be removed. The only reason I can think of that the city supports this amendment is for budgetary reasons. The city does not want to spend the money or the time to implement the guidelines of our current ordinance. I recommend that you look elsewhere in your budget to reduce expenses so that you continue to implement the guidelines of our current ordinance. Our city founders had a vision that is shown on our city's seal. Everybody, what's the most prominent figure on that seal? It's the oak tree, and that symbolizes our city founders' vision to preserve our oak tree communities and to implement the current ordinance. If this amendment is approved, then I think we will need to update our city seal. My wife designed this seal, which I hope we don't have to use. It's a seal of disapproval. No oaks, no joke. In the center, you see the axe at the oak tree stump, which symbolizes the effect of this amendment to remove literally thousands of oak trees for no good reason and without due review. This amendment will likely set a precedent for future amendments that will continue to erode the safety and preservation of our oak tree communities. You can see the dead bird in the front here in the foreground. That represents the animal species that will be destroyed as a result of all these trees being removed, because many animals require these oak trees for their survival. Each oak tree is associated with up to 1,000 different species that support the tree and are supported by the tree.
So your time's up. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Our next speaker will be David Rogers. David will be followed by Kathy Armitage, followed by Lynn Plambeck.
Native oak trees in the Santa Clarita Valley provide habitat and food for hundreds of species of wildlife. They moderate temperature extremes, including providing much-needed shade. They reduce soil erosion. They sustain water quality. They facilitate nutrient recycling. Very importantly, they play a significant role in climate change mitigation. Also, they slow the spread of wildfires, since their leaves catch and extinguish embers. The city's oak tree ordinance states specifically that its purpose is to protect all healthy oak trees on real property in the city, including public and privately owned real property. The ordinance provides an exemption to its permit requirement in cases of emergency, including if a tree is determined by an arborist to be in a hazardous or dangerous condition. The proposed amendment to the city's oak tree ordinance would allow for the complete removal of any native oak tree on residential property which has within its fall zone any legal permanent structure, regardless of whether that tree poses any safety or property damage risk. Thus, a homeowner could obtain permission to remove a perfectly healthy oak tree, including a heritage oak tree, with any type of structure within its fall zone for any trivial reason. For an example, an owner's dislike of fallen leaves and acorns. City personnel have informed me that there are 165,000 oak trees on private residential properties, of which 10,000 are within 50 feet of some type of structure. Thus, all 10,000 of these trees potentially could be removed if the proposed amendment is passed. Over time, the remaining 155,000 trees could grow to heights which have structures of some type within their fall zones, and thus could be subject to removal, even if those trees are healthy and pose no safety or property damage risks. In summary, if the amendment passes, many thousands of oak trees, including our magnificent heritage oak trees, could be removed in the future for no good reason. In fact, heritage oak trees would be the most susceptible for removal considering their height. As discussed earlier, the current oak tree ordinance already includes a permanent exemption for trees which pose an immediate threat to safety of persons or damage to property. Thus, the proposed amendment is not needed. City personnel have informed me that some homeowners have complained their homeowners insurance company has threatened to cancel their policies due to proximities of oak trees and branches. Possibly an amendment to an oak tree ordinance could be drafted to provide a remedy for those homeowners if it is determined that their homes are completely uninsurable by any insurance company. The city takes its position that the proposed amendment is exempt from environmental review under CEQA guidelines. The contrary is true. The impact on the environment of the removal of many such oak trees is very substantial, given the various environmental benefits I discussed earlier. Considering that thousands of oak trees could be cut down for no good reason under the proposed amendment, the city would be required to prepare a full environmental impact report. That has not been done.
Thank you, David.
Can I have 10 seconds?
No, David, time's up. Thank you.
Thank you. For all of these reasons, I encourage the City Council to reject the proposed amendment. Thank you.
Kathy Armitage.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Armitage, and I am speaking to you as a 22-year resident of Santa Clarita. Part of why I love living here are the natural spaces that we've built around, including the city's heralded oak trees that you proudly center in the city's logo. It is appropriate to feature the oak tree because before all of our homes were built here, this area was covered in oaks. As someone who has learned a lot about California native plants, I have come to appreciate our oaks as the uniquely special powerhouse species of trees that they are, because each oak tree is home to or supports thousands of other living species, including important pollinating butterflies and moths, as well as birds, like the acorn woodpeckers and the scrub jays we love to see. Many of the insects can only live on oak trees, and their caterpillars are vital food source of the babies of our local birds. Mature trees sequester carbon better and stabilize soil. When mature oaks are removed and replaced with young trees that take decades to grow, this leads to a domino effect of decline in insect and bird populations, decreased carbon sequestration, and changes in soil. For those who want to learn more about these issues, I would point you to read the work of Professor Douglas Tallamy, who beautifully explains it all. You are being asked to consider and approve an amendment to the language around oak tree preservation that essentially allows people to remove oaks just by having a qualifying structure located within the fall zone of an oak tree, regardless of whether or not the tree is considered a hazard. Changing the rules to allow people to remove mature oak trees that do not pose a threat does not match the city's stated goal of protecting and preserving oak trees. I understand that you are trying to find the balance of good policy that properly considers public health and safety with the protection of our natural resources, including mature trees, but this does not seem to be it. Please reconsider keeping some of the requirements to prove that a tree is indeed a threat before it can be removed. Additionally, the language in the mitigation section should be more clear and strong so that it doesn't say that if a tree is removed, mitigation trees may be donated to the city or an in lieu fee may be paid. Rather, it should say that the mitigation trees shall be donated or an in lieu fee shall be paid, and the fee cap of $1,500 should be removed. I'll close by saying that when you read the report for this item, under fiscal impact, it states that there is no fiscal impact. That is only because we as a society still do not put a dollar value on cleaner air, normal temperatures, healthy soil, healthy waterways, and normal populations of pollinators and birds. If we did, we would think about these types of decisions a lot more. Oak trees are an important part of the systems that help provide all of these things. They just don't have dollar signs attached. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Lynn Planbeck, followed by Cher Gilmar, and then Jabari Floyd. Go ahead, Lynn.
Lynn Planbeck, Santa Clarita Organization for Planning and the Environment, and I want to start by turning in a petition with over 260 signatures opposing item 2. And I want to just seek clarification from whoever wants to give it about the methodology of this. We did have a meeting with staff, but it was very late, and the intention of the meeting was to tell us what the ordinance was about, not really hear from us. So that was unlike, as I said before, the county process where they met with us for months to hear all the tree people's concerns. The methodology that we don't understand is it was explained that they did a GIS of all the trees in the city, the oak trees in the city, and it was 187,000 or something like that. And the amounts that could be removed would only be 4 to 8%. But it was unclear to us whether open space areas were included, park areas were included. If you look at just neighborhoods, for instance, my own older neighborhood in Newhall, yes, 2/3 of the trees could come out in that neighborhood. And what we would like to ask is that only neighborhoods with oaks in them be evaluated for this ordinance, because it's going to be an incredible aesthetic impact on the neighborhood. I mean, my older neighborhood in Newhall, the beauty of it is the oaks, and you're going to allow people to take out almost every oak on the street. If you go to the area around Newhall Elementary School, there's only 2 or 3 oaks there, and they could all be taken out. So I really think that this was not evaluated properly. Methodology wasn't correctly done to just look at neighborhoods. I do think you need an environmental impact report. Removal of so many trees is substantial, and once you allow people to remove trees, they're going to take them out because they don't like the leaves, they don't like the acorns, they don't like the shade. So we've had this protection to avoid exactly that in this city for a long time. And I would like to just also quickly discuss the mitigation. It's totally inadequate. If you allow people, you're giving people the choice of paying an in lieu fee or putting oaks on a property. So they don't have room for the oaks on the property. In my area, it's small lots. They're not going to put another oak on the property. The urban forestry has already let this happen in my neighborhood. We're losing oaks everywhere. Then it's only $1,500 to pay the in lieu fee, which goes to the Oak Fund, which may not be even used for planting. Are you using it for the Arbor Day Festival? Because it can be used for education. I assume that's where some of it's going. Also, you should not take out Quercus dumosa. That's an endangered, very rare oak. And you should not ignore the mitigation trees that were planted in the 80s, which were Quercus virginiata.
Thank you, Lynn.
Natives.
Our next speaker, Cher Gilmore.
Mayor West, City Council members, I'm Cher Gilmore, representing Citizens Climate Lobby. We oppose the changes to the original oak ordinance for several reasons. First, staff indicated that around 10,000 trees could potentially be cut down due to the ordinance changes. 10,000 trees, that's not an insignificant number. We think the city should plan for the worst-case scenario, not hope that the trees wouldn't all go down. Santa Clarita is not the Amazon rainforest, but every mature tree removed unnecessarily represents a little less air that we have to breathe. And even 2 or 3 young trees planted now don't replace the massive amount of carbon uptake of one large mature tree. It takes years for trees to become a significant carbon sink, and the climate crisis from too many emissions is now, not 50 years from now. Oaks are one of the best emission capturers of all tree species. The average oak captures about 11,000 pounds of CO2 over its lifetime, and old oaks will increase their absorption by up to 1/3 to meet increasing CO2 levels. This is free carbon capture and storage, and it doesn't require any additional infrastructure. Oaks absorb more CO2 in warm climates like ours, too, and they also effectively remove pollutants from the air, even ozone, xylene, and benzene. One large tree provides enough oxygen per day for about 4 people, and the water a single tree transpires daily has the cooling effect of 2 domestic air conditioners for a day. We believe the original oak ordinance is sufficient for nearly all situations, but mitigation should be required for any tree that's taken down for any reason other than disease. We also suggest less of an all-or-nothing approach. If there's an issue that the original ordinance doesn't cover, then address that issue by bringing in outside arborists to get more than one opinion. And the only public notice, a legal notice in only the print edition of the Signal on February 17, 2026, was not sufficient to allow the people who would be most concerned about this to be alerted. Apparently, property owners were consulted before the proposal was written, but not SCOPE, the California Oak Foundation, or the California Native Plant Society, who could have provided another viewpoint. Since the changes will affect the common good and not just property owners, we suggest real dialogue and education for the community on this issue before allowing the original protections to be weakened. That would require extending the deadline for the proposed changes to be accepted, and that's exactly what we request, an extension on concluding this. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Kilmer. Our next speaker will be Jabari Floyd, followed by Christopher Robles.
Hello, I'm Jabari Floyd, and I'm a student at COC, and I just wanted to come and support the people that are saying no to this because oaks are an important part of our ecosystems here. They are one of the trees that house some of the most native species here, and they're really important to squirrels, to birds, to butterflies, to moths, to different types of animals and wildlife. And taking that away from people's backyards takes those wildlife out of this valley, which we don't want. And then also, I'm also concerned about how this could impact heat because trees themselves provide a lot of shade for neighborhoods and city regions here, urban regions here. And without those trees, we would have less shade for our houses, for our sidewalks, for different public spaces that need these in the summer because it gets so hot because of climate change, because of different environmental issues. So having these trees here does act as a barrier for us to stay safe, to stay cool in the summer and in this climate that we're in. So I think having them here is a ultimate benefit for our community. And then while there is definitely concerns about safety, having different ways of dealing with it rather than just, as they said, taking away those trees, because especially heritage oaks, you can't get those back. They're 300 years old, and oaks themselves are a slow-growing species. So having trees that big in these areas, you can't get trees like that again in our lifetime. So that is why I came to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Christopher Robles, followed by Tina Martinez.
Hello, my name is Christopher Robles. I too am a student at College of the Canyons, a resident here in Santa Clarita. I am too opposed against the proposal because I do feel, I would like to follow up with the same information. Oak trees are really important for their ecological and environmental services that they provide for the environment. For one, they're a baseline species, as well as what I've been hearing everybody say. They provide, not just, as my partner was saying, they help with, with climate control because they sequester carbon. They prevent soil erosion. They help with groundwater recharge, which is also, something that protects the soil from erosion. There's city runoffs. I heard there was a lot of some of the other the presentations where there were people sharing had to do with the water district, the water reclamation plant, and just in general, even the city, the drain base area that had to do with the city runoff. This is another thing that oak trees really help with. There's also the heat island effect, which was what my friend was sharing about. This actually has to do with removing a lot of oaks could really impact the climate, the local, the microclimate around the valley. It can disrupt many native species, pollinators, butterflies. It provides many ecological services, just like food for the wildlife, also aesthetic purposes. The city is actually, from what I've learned, it's a walkable city. So it's a city that's actually takes its pride on its environmental, it's trees, it's native plants that, if you remove that, it would, it would be really shame, a lot of those trees have been here prior to the city actually being built, and it would take a long time for them to reestablish, and that's, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Our last speaker will be Tina Martinez.
Good evening, everyone. I guess I'm the only one that's in support of this amendment. I am actually a homeowner in the Sand Canyon area where all the homes were essentially built around the oak trees. We have 3 oak trees on our property. We've lived on the property for approximately 11 years, and we've never made an issue of it. A lot of our usage of our property has been limited because of the oak trees, because one abuts our driveway, which also is adjacent to all of our utilities. But recently we redid our driveway and we learned that a lot of the roots from this massive oak tree were invading the foundation of our property. We didn't touch the tree, we didn't do anything to the tree, but recently the limbs have been falling off of the tree. We followed the city's protocol that was online and we submitted an entitlement application with an arborist report indicating that one of the oak trees on our property is diseased and needs to come down. And the other one is essentially, it's not sealing properly and it's posing some dangers, although not imminent. It will be something in the future. We were told by the city arborist to go ahead and get a tree assessment, risk assessment done. We also went through that path. We are now going on 3 months. I have a tree that is losing limbs. It's fallen twice onto our driveway. It's impacting the potential of my garage, which isn't within an occupied zone per se based on the current ordinance, but it has a cascading effect because if one of those branches falls on my garage, it'll eventually hit my kitchen, it'll hit my living room, it'll hit my children. So we have a lot of fear as to what's happening with this oak tree. It's seemingly healthy. However, the tree risk assessment says that it's probably entering senescence, which is the death of an oak tree that comes in time. Everyone here is talking about how great these heritage trees are, but they do have a lifespan, and some of these lifespans are coming to an end within specific neighborhoods and are posing dangers to homeowners such as us. So we would like to see this expedited rather than extended in the decision-making process. And for people like us within the Sand Canyon area or those whose homes and families are within danger of these oak trees, that we have some relief and we can apply for the process, whether or not it's mitigating or whether or not it's some sort of a fund that we have to pay into, so we can expedite the removal of these trees before they pose any additional danger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have 2 written comment cards. One is David Lutness and the other is Carol Lutness. I'm now, we don't have any other speakers, right? Okay, so then I will now close the public comment portion of this hearing. And I'm sure council has some questions.
I'd like to.
Go ahead.
I'd like to ask a question or two. So we had a speaker come up and hint that this ordinance, passing this amendment, could cause thousands of oak trees to be cut down. Personally, I think that's extreme, but it's possible. I don't know. We just had our last speaker tell the council that there's a real need for her to have some action on the oak trees. I think she said 3 of them on her property. So I'm just thinking out loud, I guess, somewhere between thousands or potentially thousands and somewhere between the need of some homeowners who are very impacted by these oak trees and the potential for the damage that they can do. There has to be a happy place, for lack of a better term, where we can agree and say, you know what, if like the last speaker, if you've got a serious problem, we need to be able to take care of it without damaging your house or your children. But if you just want to move a few oak trees just because, we don't want to let you do that either. So somewhere there's a happy place, and please don't show those placards that's a little scary. You're implying, and I say this respectfully, but you're implying that the city of Santa Clarita wants to cut down all the oak trees, and that's hardly the case. Anyway, that's just my thought, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Madam Mayor, would you mind if I gave the council a little more context to the
I think that would be helpful. I've got some of the same.
What I wanted to add is that as many of you guys know, the council's commitment to oak trees started from the very beginning. I believe the very first ordinance that the first council passed was the oak tree ordinance. That being said, the word or the term, the original ordinance, was referenced several times tonight by speakers. We're not dealing with the original ordinance. The ordinance has been amended multiple times over the last 40 years. It's been amended to help balance the needs of homeowners, safety issues with the preservation of oak trees throughout the community. I think one of the speakers mentioned the methodology being off. Well, the methodology is based on our LiDAR technology through our GIS system, which is the best or most accurate information we have. And that does show that there's approximately 165,000 oak trees in all of the city of Santa Clarita. Now, that includes open space, residential, everything else. The technology also shows us that worst case, there's approximately 9,000 trees that would fall within the exemption areas, so the 50 feet. Now, does that mean that 9,000 people are going to come to the city next year and ask for exemptions and to cut out their trees? Absolutely not. I would imagine that if there's property owners that just spoke who have oak trees within that 50-foot area are not going to be coming to the city and asking them to be removed. A lot of people move to areas because of the oak trees and they enjoy them. There are just a number of issues that we've dealt with throughout the year since the last amendment that prompted us to come forward with an amendment that helps do what I think you just asked Councilmember Miranda, which is to balance the needs of the property owners who have to deal with these trees every single day. And so there are issues when you have some of these oak tree limbs weigh 2,000 pounds. I mean, they're not light branches. I mean, they can cause serious destruction. And as the pictures showed, they can. And so as a property owner, if you're faced with a situation where even if the tree looks healthy, which our staff said that it doesn't always show signs of distress. But if you're sitting there coming home every day and you're walking under these limbs that weigh multiple thousands of pounds, and your kids are walking under those every day, you can have a serious concern about whether or not that's a safety risk to your children. And so the staff right now with the current ordinance is constantly faced with trying to work within an ordinance that doesn't give a great deal of flexibility, requires an extensive amount of process and cost for homeowners to try to justify the removals. And it's just onerous. It's onerous on staff. It's onerous on the property owners. And this is a reflection of dealing with people who own oak trees over the last 5-10 years and trying to come up with an amendment that preserves the framework of preserving oaks, but does provide property owners property rights and the ability to feel safe within their own structures. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Who's next? Are you next?
Me.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Yeah, I have same opinion that the city has been a long-standing commitment to protect oaks, and this is to protect lives. So what is the alternative? Wait until somebody dies? This is, for me, it's about saving lives and also to having a condition for approval for the city to go and check that it's a genuine risk for lives, for kids, and for families to do this, but have the city involved in some kind of inspection during the process, because that's the part that I am really concerned about. We're talking about lives for the trees. This is not like remodeling or cutting all the trees in the city of Santa Clarita. For the rest of the oaks in the city of Santa Clarita, or everything will be the same. This is for trees that is a risk for human beings, and we need to think about the safety of our residents.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we can come back if we do. Okay. Go ahead, Marcia.
Sure. I had asked some questions this afternoon, but apparently there wasn't enough time to get me some answers as to some of the questions I asked, so I'll do it now. On packet page 16, my question is, how long does a resident need to live on or own the property before it is eligible for this new process? Does it say?
No, there is no requirement. Once you own the property, there's no waiting period that you would have to wait for.
So an oak tree could be on a piece of property and somebody comes along and buys it and says, well, this is a nuisance and I don't want it, so they can then go with the new process?
If it falls within the criteria that is outlined in the proposal, yes.
Okay, this comes to the next one. I asked for a comparison regarding the old rules or process and the new. Just a small chart. And I was told it was in the packet, but I don't see anything like that. Do you have anything like that that you can show us? For instance, with the new one, the new process, how long does it take? How much does it, with the old process, how long does it take? How much does it cost? And then with the new process, how long does it take and how much is the cost? And along with the other things that a homeowner has to follow. I can't make a decision unless I have that information. Did you want me to ask my other questions before you answer, or do you want to answer that one for me?
Sure, I can answer that. Quick answer is currently a removal of an oak tree generally requires a permit under the current ordinance language. For most single-family properties, requests are processed through a director-level permit, a Class 2 permit, when a limited number of trees are involved and no heritage oak is proposed for removal. This process requires an application, an arborist report, an on-site inspection, and payment of a permit fee, and typically takes about 6 to 8 weeks to process. So that's a Class 2 permit, not involving Planning Commission. If it's a Class 4 permit, would be a heritage tree involving Planning Commission approval at a public hearing. This process also includes staff review.
Okay, stop. I'm sorry. I need to see this in writing and this in writing, like I had asked for. What you're saying is, thank you. I appreciate you're trying to accommodate this request, but it's apparently too complicated to do that without seeing it simplified and in writing. The other question I have, can a homeowner build an ADU and then would it qualify for removal of the oak tree under the new process?
Yes, so the answer to that question, Councilmember McLean, is a single-family property owner could construct a structure that falls within the qualifying structure definition that we're proposing, and if it falls within the fall zone of an oak tree on their property, then they would be able to proceed or apply for this ministerial permit and have that oak tree removed.
Okay, because with the state making everybody able to build ADUs, how many oak trees would be removed? That's a rhetorical question. It could be a whole bunch.
Councilmember, I want to add that, as you're aware, we've been going through a number of back and forth with the state, and one of the things the state has said is that ADUs cannot be precluded or limited due to an oak tree preservation ordinance.
Right.
They have rendered that a moot point anyways as it relates to ADUs.
So regardless of whether we make this amendment or not, they can come in, build an ADU, and then we would have to let them remove it, the tree?
To the extent that the tree needed to be removed to accommodate construction of the ADU, yes. Without this amendment, regardless of this amendment, if somebody exercised their right to build an ADU and an oak tree had to be removed to accommodate that ADU, they're going to get to remove that oak tree and build that ADU.
Right. You know, oak trees do provide cleaner air and cooler air, and they do help the environment a lot. I had another question, which I don't know, I know that these questions I have are kind of detailed, and it would have been lovely to be able to have the answers to that. I would like to see this thing go to the next meeting so that I can get my questions answered, so I can, in good conscience, either vote for it or against it. I don't have the answers I need with the information that is in the packet. Sorry. Would the council be amenable to just having it go to the next meeting for our first?
I think we should finish this process right now.
I'm sorry, what?
I think we should finish the process we're in right now, which would require us finishing the comments from the council and seeing if we have a vote.
Okay, well, finish the comments, but I still ask if that can happen.
Councilman Gibbs.
Mayor, thank you. Councilman Clean, you asked one of the questions I was curious about. So when City Attorney, we discussed the ADUs, the only issue I had is, yes, if they wanted to build it where an oak tree is, our ordinance is not allowed to impact that. We are not allowed to say no under state law. But the ordinance would allow them to now fall under the fall zone, and they would be able to remove that tree simply for building, not necessarily an ADU, but a pergola or a kennel would both now become acceptable structures. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then the only two comments I had, I think I appreciate Councilmember Miranda's comments, because I appreciate staff looking for balance here, and that is the goal. And Mayor Pro Tem Ayala, you talked about safety for residents, 100%. And I think the lady who spoke from San Canyon gave us the perfect example. But my question is, the fall zone isn't related to the health of a tree. The fall zone is related to the proximity of a unit. So in the case of the lady from San Canyon, you had a tree that is in distress and having issues and having limbs fall. But that seems different to me than a tree that is simply healthy or deemed healthy by arborists or our inspections, whatever that process may be, but then saying you're within 50 feet, even if the tree's healthy, it can be removed. So is the example that for the lady who came and spoke, this process would be ministerial and allow her to remove the tree because of the fall zone, and it's unrelated to health. Why can't the ordinance simply address the fall zone when it relates to trees that are unhealthy versus trees that are healthy as deemed by our arborists or our own internal procedures?
Thank you, Councilmember Gibbs, for the question. The answer to that question is based on as Valerie spoke earlier, a tree's health is not always visible to the naked eye. And in the case of the last speaker, an arborist report was submitted to the team for review. And the arborist concluded that the tree was not in imminent danger and could not therefore conclude that it should be removed. And so, as stated earlier, all trees are assets and liabilities at the same time. And so a tree from the outside may look perfectly healthy, but we cannot tell if there's disease on the inside. And as stated earlier, we have trees failing during storm events all the time that from the outside, it seemed perfectly healthy, but we cannot tell what's going on the inside.
When it comes to heritage oaks, do we have some sort of inspection requirement when you're talking about health and for old, large oak trees versus just looking at it and saying it looks healthy or doesn't look healthy?
Are you asking in regards to the proposed ministerial permit pathway?
No.
Just in general, do we have a program for the inspection of private heritage?
Because one of the mentions, and forgive me, I apologize for interrupting, you started talking about a Class 4 permit process for heritage oaks going to the Planning Commission. And I understand that could be pretty arduous in terms of going through bureaucracy and policy, which I have concerns with, and I believe Councilmember Miranda would share those concerns. My question would be, is along that path, what does the city require or impose in terms of deeming health of the tree when you're talking about Class 4 permit removals in heritage oaks?
So essentially, the permit requirements require that an arborist report justify why a tree meets the findings that are outlined in our municipal code that would allow for a removal permit to be authorized. Does that answer your question?
Kind of.
So it's a third-party arborist is hired to go out and make a determination as to the tree's health or whether it's an imminent threat. It could be based on multiple factors, but that report has to demonstrate through several factors the justification of it. So it's an expert report that goes back, evaluates the tree, comes back to staff. Staff evaluates the report to make sure that we concur with what the findings make sense, and then that would be the approval process. But it's a third party that has to go out and evaluate the tree based on whatever the factors are.
But more than just physically looking at it.
Yes.
And to confirm, there are specific findings that are outlined in the municipal code that would justify the authorized removal of the tree. So the report needs to verify that one of those reasonings one of those findings has been met.
Okay. Mayor, I think I'm good for the moment, Mayor.
Are you good for the moment?
Thank you.
All right.
I have a follow-up because it has to do with the same questions that Councilmember Gibbs was making. We were talking about that sometimes trees can fall down in a storm that you don't see, they are not healthy, but also healthy oaks never fall down even in the storm, or only unhealthy?
Healthy trees can fail. Sometimes a failure is the result of soil saturation and is more an issue of soil failure versus tree failure. So it isn't always a tree will come down because of the condition of the tree itself. It may be indeed a soil failure because of saturated soils or high winds or what have you.
Okay.
It may not be related to the condition of the oak itself.
But the weight can kind of help to fall down because of the condition of the soil. Okay, even if it's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Just to know.
Mayor, I know you don't want to take any more time, but I just
No,
have two.
I have some too.
I know, just two more real quick questions.
Go ahead,
I was
Marcia.
just wondering on page 17, it talks about discretionary findings, and I'm just curious real quickly what that means. And then another statement I have is my concern is there's a lot of homeowners out there that consider the oak trees on their property a nuisance and they want to get rid of them. And I'm just concerned that this is facilitating those homeowners rather than the ones of the lady that came up here and has a legitimate concern. So those are the two things I just quickly, if you could answer for me.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. So on page 17, the discretionary findings, that is what I was just previously mentioning. So in our municipal code, there is a list of findings that must be met by the arborist report and staff's evaluation of the tree itself and the review of the arborist report to authorize the removal of the tree. So that is referencing those findings in the municipal code.
Okay, I just wish that would have been in the packet so I could have had that information.
Okay.
Last one, I promise. Last one, I'm sorry.
This is fun.
I'm just going to have everybody ask one more to see how we can keep
let's see if we can do that. Okay, go ahead.
Actually, the last question I would have is staff or city attorney. The only, in going back to the comment about building ADU, building a pergola, is there a way to adjust the language? So if someone, a lot of this is focused on existing structure. Is there a way to adjust the language? So if someone were to choose to build one of these qualifying structures near one of these trees and put it in a fall zone, that you can limit them from say, well, if you put it there now after we pass this ordinance and allow them the ability to simply remove the tree for doing that, is there a way to have language that limits the ability of people to simply do that versus the cases we're all worried about existing trees, existing structures that are starting to impact people now?
Yes, language could be added to the ordinance that simply says, for structures that exist as of the date of this ordinance, blah, 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 blah. So anybody who comes in and builds something afterwards is not going to get this exemption. They're going to have to go through the old process.
Okay. I won't propose that until I'd like to hear your comments, Mayor, before anything, but
That was
I
a
wanted
good,
to
that was a good
throw that
point.
out there.
That was a good point. Thank you. This has been very interesting. So a little bit about oak trees. I was studying on some of the interesting things about oak trees. Oak trees hate lawn. You can't put a lawn under them. And we all knew that. And oak trees are very beneficial, and most people really love their oak trees. Interesting thing is there are almost an enormous amount of plants you can't plant under an oak tree. They don't like other plants. Plants cause the oak tree literally in the soil to combat most plants, and it expends its energy to fight the plants in its way. It's kind of a Darth Vader thing. You plant and the tree starts putting out chemicals to fight the plants. There's only a few kinds. So if you're going to plant a oak tree, please get good advice. And there's lots of resources on the internet. I'll tell you what you can plant where there's a simpatico environment with the oak trees. Interesting thing, when we've had droughts, long-term droughts in this valley, and then we get rain, those really beautiful, healthy oak trees, their roots have come up in the drought, and they've come up looking for water. And then it rains 25, 35, 40 inches, and the tree just falls over, which is terrifying and really disturbing for all those of us who live the trees, because there you've got this really healthy tree, and now all the roots are sticking out of the ground, and you can't save the tree. So they have a very interesting type of life, and I think we all really appreciate the fact that we have oaks, and most people want to keep them. I like your comment, if somebody's going to go forth and put something in its way, that was a choice. That was a good choice. I think we need to find a balance. I certainly don't want to do anything that's going to cause people even more of a nightmare with getting insurance on their home than they already have, which has become a consistent problem. But I did want to say we have 15,000 acres, staff, of open space that is in perpetuity forever. So when we talk about this in lieu fee could be whatever the council wants it to be. We could, if they can't plant back on, you could plant on city property and however many you want, but then the trees would be there in perpetuity. And of course, the forestry will tell you that the best oak trees to get healthy, the smaller you plant them, the better. You don't want to plant big trees. You want to plant tiny trees or even acorns, but don't think acorns would make us happy. We'd like to plant trees. But I just think we should find a balance here because, we've got, what did you say, 165,000 trees out there, and we've got 15,000 acres open space. We should be able to find a balance here, and we should encourage the homeowners to evaluate the trees. But the one sad thing about some of these big trees is you can't tell if they're healthy until something happens. And the ones where they'll drop limbs for years on you, on your house, on your yard, on your car, and they won't just fall over. And then all of a sudden one day they do. They just fall over. And that's where it's a problem because the limbs may weigh 2,000 pounds, but the tree itself weighs tons. And therein lies the problem. And it's a problem for the city because if you have somebody that's come in and said they have real fear and they have children in their yard and then something does happen, well, we need a balance. So I think that Councilman Gibbs' recommendation was really important. I think that I don't know about what the in lieu fee should be, but I do think if you can plant on the property and you can plant where you're not in a lawn, you're not near the building, and in some areas you can do that really well. But if you can't do that, then the money has to go to the city for the city to plant in open space where the trees will eventually be in nature. And no matter where you plant those trees, they're going to sustain wildlife. They're going to sustain air quality. And that's one of the good things. We have how many trees in our, 167,000 trees in our street tree? How many is it? Street tree.
Street trees were about just under 100,000.
100,000 trees that we take care of just as a street tree. So we have an abundance of wonderful trees and people that care for them here. So, I just think, Council, that this is not a fight. This is about finding yet another balance in an ordinance that was done we're pushing 40 years ago. So it's had some upgrades. I'd like to see us do that. Does anybody want to make a motion with some things being put into it?
I would like to make a motion in support of item number 2 with the comments of Councilmember Gibbs about not if ADU cannot be in a place where it's an existing oak. and also having the city having an inspection in the permit process to be sure this is because there's a risk. This is not like just because they want to move it.
But I thought the Attorney General said that was not an option for us.
The ADU, no, my understanding is, and Councilmember Gibbs' amendment was to make structures after the implementation of the ordinance. You can't come build underneath them. Now, ADUs would be exceptions to that because that's regulated under state law.
Right.
Any of the other factors, other uses wouldn't be prohibited and have to go through the old process of the ordinance.
Okay.
Didn't you mention you wanted to know how much the in lieu fee would be?
How much is the in lieu fee?
It's $1,500 right now.
Is that good for the council?
Thank you, Mayor. Is the purpose of the fee for repatriating oaks into open space? If that's the purpose of the funds, I have no problem supporting that.
It should be only for repatriating oaks and planting
Well,
oaks.
how much would it cost under the old, and how much is it under the new?
So just to clarify, the $1,500 mitigation that we've referred to is essentially it's based on size. So that would be the cap, but there is a tiered approach that gets up to $1,500 based on the size of the tree that would be removed.
How much under the old process? How much does it cost under the old process versus the new for a homeowner to be able to remove a tree?
So essentially this follows the existing tiered schedule, with the exception of under this permit, the proposed permit pathway, there would be a cap of $1,500. Otherwise, the schedule is the same.
Let me add to that. The 1,500 it goes up to a tree of an 18-inch diameter. So trees up to 18-inch in diameter, it's $1,500. In the current language, it's a higher dollar amount after you exceed 18 inches in diameter.
So you're getting much less money mitigation under the new one than you did the old?
Correct. It's based on the size of the tree. We capped it at 1,500.
Under the new?
Correct.
And there was no cap under the old? So this makes it really cheaper for a homeowner to be able to remove a tree, right? Under the new?
Yes. It does, yeah, it balances the cost. I mean, when a homeowner removes a tree, it's not just paying the mitigation fee. To remove an oak tree that's.
Well, it can cost over $5,000 to just remove a pine tree.
That was going to be my comment. Who pays for the tree removal? The homeowner.
We're trying to balance the cost prohibition as well.
Well, that's a lot of difference between $5,000 to remove a pine tree and $1,500 to remove a heritage oak.
No, you still have to pay to remove the tree.
To remove an oak tree from the ground would probably exceed $5,000.
And regardless of the amendment, homeowners would pay that?
They still have to pay to remove the tree, yes.
Oh,
It's their oak tree.
It's expensive to remove one of those trees. So I just,
As long as the 1,500 is not just acceptable to council, but will do what we're looking to do, which is repatriate oaks, then I'm fine with
that's
the
what
amount
I
of money.
want to make sure. I want to make sure it's clear with staff and with the city that when you take that money, we are planting oaks in a place where there will not be a problem. And if that's in our open space, that's fine. If that's somewhere else, that's fine. But let's be sensible about how we replant and use the money wisely.
Okay, if that, I totally understand the council's direction on that. So if I could get Councilmember Ayala's amendment to that with that direction, because right now the Oak Tree Preservation Fund is not solely for the purposes of planting trees. If that's the council's direction, we can simply take that direction as we move forward with the mitigation fee.
I think it should be that because we're going to be taking trees from the city, some of the trees, so to mitigate.
Okay.
If the council members are.
Can I just ask one question?
This is my night for it.
No. I mean, this is just to help me with this on the second reading. Is it possible for me to get the answers to the questions that I was hoping to have tonight before we vote on the second reading? Because I still don't have the answers I asked for.
we would certainly be happy to meet with you between now and the next council meeting.
There. All's good. All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second with the amendments?
I will second.
All right, I have a motion.
Oh,
Just for clarification, what staff intends to do with regard to addressing the issue that has been raised and as part of this motion is that the exception applies to qualifying structures, and those are defined, qualifying structures that are in existence as of, and we'll just insert the effective date of the ordinance.
Okay. Yes.
Are we good to the attorney? City manager? All in? All done?
Yep.
Thank you. This was great.
I have a motion and a second. Let's have roll call.
Councilmember Gibbs?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala?
Aye.
Councilmember Miranda?
Yes.
Councilwoman McLean?
Well, maybe I'll vote yes on the second reading after I get my answers, but this time it's no.
And Mayor West?
Aye. Thank you, council. And let me go to, we have to go back to number 1. Where are you? Okay, let's go back to ballot tabulation. Is that completed? And can you announce the results?
100% of the ballots are in favor of the DBAA and 0% are opposed. Therefore, there is no majority protest.
Okay, so there's no majority protest. I will now entertain a motion to approve the resolution confirming the results of the property owner's protest.
Motion.
I have a
Second.
motion. I have a second. Thank you. Can I have a roll call?
Councilmember Miranda?
Yes.
Councilwoman McLean?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala?
Aye.
Councilmember Gibbs?
Aye.
And Mayor West?
Aye. All right. We approved motion 1 and 2. Now let's go to consent. Have any speakers? We have no speakers. Any council comments on consent? I have one.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. It was actually, Councilmember Miranda answered the question for me without realizing I was going to ask the city staff when we were getting the hydrogen buses, because the item had to do with amending buses, and they're here.
Well, I think.
That's great.
I just want to say, I think it's one of the most exciting things.
Yes.
Other than the Aspire, which is really exciting, but I think that is one of the most forward-thinking things. They emit water, and if all cars just ran on hydrogen and emitted water, we would not have constant battles over air quality issues anywhere in the United States. So thank you, Ken, and staff for being very futuristic, so I appreciate that. So if we are...
I just would like to make a comment. It's a comment. It's not going to take no. But this is very important. I just want to give a big shout out to number 5 on the consent calendar, the juvenile intervention specialist contract, because it's about addressing the most vulnerable teenagers in our city. And of course, that I'm very proud that we have that program. Not every city has that program. We do, and we're going to keep on supporting that. Thank you.
It's pretty great. All right. Are we done?
Vote.
I move
Voting.
the consent
I have
calendar.
a motion.
Second.
Seconds. Roll call. Somebody seconded.
Mayor Pro Tem Ayala?
Aye.
Councilmember Gibbs?
Aye.
Councilwoman McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Miranda?
Yes.
And Mayor West?
Aye. You want to announce your adjournment?
Yes, I would like to adjourn our city council meeting in memory of Donald Don Curl.
Very nice. Now, do we have no more speaker comments? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, council.
Thanks, Mayor.
Lovely.
Thank you.